Come on, let's go.
The sheds, garages and barns of Britain are brimful of old and unwanted stuff.
Blimey.
It may look like garbage, but it could be worth a pretty penny. Petrolhead Henry Cole and his expert restorers Alan Milliard and Guy Willison, affectionately known as Skid, love meddling with motors.
Oh, aye, aye.
And returning all manner of things to their former glory.
It's a revelation.
While upcycling whiz Simon O'Brien
Must be mad.
and his repurposing duo Gemma Longworth and Phil Carroll transform unloved bits and bobs into fantastic one-off items.
Oh, I love it.
This is what we do.
They may have different tastes,
Yes.
but Henry and Simon are here to rescue your cast-offs
Feast your eyes, Ronnie.
and convert them into cash.
£4,000.
That's amazing.
Fabulous profits.
Today, flight attendant Henry ticks one off the upcycling bucket list.
Hang on, I've always wanted to do this.
Go on.
All right, mate. Chicken or beef? Chicken or beef?
I'm vegetarian, I pre-ordered.
Simon's restoration is full of hot air.
So it's a Blacksmith bellows. Now,
Yeah.
I previously gave it a clean off. But what I need now is some of that Gemma magic. Yeah.
Hard work.
And at the valuation, Ronnie's amazed.
I think you both excelled yourself. Yeah, I like everything. I really like everything.
Oh, great.
Today, the boys are heading to Somerset in the southwest.
We are going to Wincanton,
Oh, yeah.
right, to meet Gyles,
Yeah.
ex-military,
Yeah.
but also as a blacksmith.
Do you know where the word smith comes from?
No.
It's in the Old English, smid, to hit or strike.
Well, Henry, you never know, mate. We might strike it lucky.
I'm one of these people who collect stuff because I know it'll be useful one day, and I will keep it until it is useful. And in 5 years' time, it'll have a use.
You hope.
Gyles, I'm surrounded by everything that I think we love. Look, trinketry everywhere.
I have got everything that I think I'm going to need. I've got everything that I know I won't need.
Right, okay. So can we help you on the stuff that you won't need?
Yes.
Hey, that's why we're here then.
If it's all right by you, we're going to pick 2 items each,
Yep.
do with it what we will, and hopefully make you a few bob as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Shall we go and get stuck in?
Yes.
Because I can see we're going to be busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you
Gyles,
later,
we'll
dude.
see you in a bit.
Oh, big shed.
Mega.
Mega indeed.
Wow.
So much so that Henry seems baffled by the sheer scale of the place.
Trying to take everything in and just look at what's immediately in front of you. Okay.
You.
I'm afraid there's
much
no
stuff.
upcycling me, mate.
Now look, Si and I can be competitive, but look, other times, like today, he is a great help.
Let your imagination go, Henry. Come on. What would you
right.
do with that?
You could polish it up, paint it up.
Yes. What's different about this pillar drill than others you see?
Well, it's got a flywheel on the top here.
Correct. That just helps it drive itself down, doesn't it?
We could put a little wood insert in here.
Yep.
Make it flat.
Correct.
Clean this up beautiful, and you could have a lovely, lovely trailing lobelia.
A plant stand, and intrinsically what you haven't done is damage this lovely old piece of machinery.
And as the sun moves round, yeah, you can just go like this, can't you?
Yeah.
There you are, look. And the little plant can go round and move with the sun.
And with Henry a little less confused,
See? Don't worry.
Simon says hello to his first find.
Oh, bellows. Like these, you're just an old gas bag, aren't you?
Okay, I was just full of hot air. Now look, tell us, man.
Obviously, thinking about what Gyles used to do.
Yeah.
It's an old Blacksmith bellows. It's got these, I think they're called cannonball counterweights.
What does that do then?
Well, it just helps the whole thing ease up and down. So it just takes the effort out of it as it compresses.
Oh, okay.
You know, if you're working iron or you're working any kind of steel, then you need high temperatures. And that's what the bellows did. They pushed the oxygen through to keep that furnace roaring. So it's just a beautiful thing, isn't it? All it just needs is some TLC to bring it back to its former glory.
Yeah.
You can just see that sitting in some big country pub or something, can't you?
Yeah, no, it's beautiful.
Definitely my first item. Okay.
Earlier, Henry was confused.
Look at that.
Now it appears he's off his trolley.
You know what this is?
Yeah. They're so cool though, aren't they?
Okay, so it's basically a trolley, in-flight trolley, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hey, hang on, I've always wanted to do this.
Go on.
All right, mate, chicken or beef? Chicken or beef? Chicken or beef?
I'm vegetarian, I pre-ordered.
Have you?
Yeah.
You're the vegetarian
Yeah,
option.
yeah.
Oh, I'll get that for you in a minute.
Thank you.
Oh, I've just fulfilled a lifelong ambition.
There is something really kind of ergonomic about those airline trolleys. They're all aluminium, they're beautifully built, and so, you know, with a bit of imagination, they can be repurposed into many things.
What happens if we take this,
Okay. Yeah.
turn it into a tool chest?
It could be really cool. And what if you did like some like sliders? Because the problem is, if you've got stuff in there,
Yeah, mate.
you can't get to it.
Yeah,
But if you get some draw mechanisms,
like
you're
that.
supposed to slide around and get what you want then, can't you?
Mate.
Second item. Hey, all right, we're flying now, aren't we?
Come on then, we are flying.
And from the mega barn to the mini shed.
Sometimes good things come in small packages.
You hope.
Charlie Chaplin's in here.
Oh, actually, is that what you think it is? That's lovely. Oh, yeah. Oh, mate,
There we go, look.
that's all right.
There's a little baby rocker.
Is that sort of kids rocker?
Yeah, it is. I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
it's seen better days.
Could you fill that and then paint it?
Well, you could. You'd really want to clamp it back in position. But it's just pretty, isn't it?
It's a lovely, lovely little form,
And
isn't it?
it's kind of on its last legs. But you know what? It's very nicely built. It's
I
well
love it.
dowelled and everything. Do you know what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to rescue it. Hey,
It's
we're
lovely.
rocking now, aren't we?
We are rocking. Shall we see, Giles?
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Come on in.
Who may be able to shed some more light on the four finds.
Giles, I think we can safely say we may have got ourselves an eclectic mix.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Giles, if I was pushing this trolley along and I asked you, would you have chicken or beef?
I'd have the cocktails.
Oh, would you?
Yes.
Okay, I think they're in the bottom drawer. Tell me about this then. Obviously, it's a flight attendant's trolley.
It was here when I came here, and
All right.
I keep on trying to think what I can use it for.
Well, I think I've got an idea.
Well done.
Yeah, I think it might become a tool chest.
Okay.
To this rather lovely pillar drill. Tell me about that.
When I was still blacksmithing, I was kitting out my Land Rover as a mobile workshop, and I needed a decent drill that didn't have to have power.
Perfect. So look, those are my two items. Si?
Yes, we'll save the best till last, that's for sure. Tell me about this lovely little petite rocker.
I don't know if it's a child's rocking chair or a nursing rocking
Yeah,
chair.
maybe.
Yeah, same question in my mind.
I'm guessing nursing. I think it's beach.
Well, do you know what? It's just a lovely little thing, and you know, there are certain issues with it which I'm going to attempt to put right, but I'm just going to rescue it if that's okay.
You may.
Brilliant.
It's a lovely little piece.
Talking of a lovely piece, wow. I think it's only fitting that we come to visit a smith and we take away a pair of bellows. Tell me about those.
They're All Day and Onions, which is probably the most famous make in the world. I am really pleased these are going to be brought back. I am, because it's something I'd love to have done myself, and I know I'll never get around to it.
Brilliant.
But it's not just the bellows that need new life breathing into them. There's the other finds too, including a chair that may be beyond repair. Workshop time. Simon O'Brien and Henry Cole
Wow.
are upcycling discards into dough.
Chicken or beef?
They both picked two items from Giles's sheds.
Hey, we're rocking now, aren't we?
Now back at the farm, time for Skid to get working on Henry's bucket list wish. The flight attendant's trolley.
Basically, it's a box on wheels. So we're going to convert this into a workshop toolbox.
These service carts or trolleys were introduced in the late 60s when wider-bodied aircraft were introduced. With extra passengers, it became impractical to deliver individual plated meals by hand.
Now, this is one of the shelves from inside the unit, and what I've done is I've just used it as a template, so I'm marked out, ready to cut.
Next, also for skid, it's the pillar drill. So called because a column or pillar is securely fitted to a base plate that's bolted to the floor.
Henry has asked me to paint it, and he's also, the thing I'm really not sure about, asked me to cut a piece of wood, put it in here, so he thinks that'll make a nice ornamental plant stand. Right, I'm just going to use some contact cleaner to get some of the grease off it.
In his workshop, Simon's looking forward to restoring the set of vintage bellows.
That's the workout done for today. First thing I love about this item is that it was made by a company called All Day and Onions. It's just brilliant. I mean, it's enough to bring a tear to your eye.
All Days and Onions were formed in 1889 in Birmingham. And as well as manufacturing bellows, they also made a wide range of cars and early tractors.
Having looked online, what I've found is that this is the end of a handle, and then it should be complete down to this hole. And when you want to use the bellows, you open up the handle and you just pump. That moves this mechanism, which lifts the bellows up and down, and that feeds your furnace. The important thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get in touch with a very clever blacksmith I know called Ian. Because there's some ironwork missing off the linkage, I know he can recreate it in a modern smith and then put it all back together, and let's see if it works.
So Simon's got some expert help coming for the bellows. But he might need the same for the rocking chair.
What you've got here is a bent wood chair. So this piece of wood was originally straight, and then they put it in a tube and just coated it in steam for however long it takes to make it pliable. And when it cools off, it stays in that shape. But what's happened with this guy is it's been somewhere damp and it's sprung back. And what I'm going to do is re-steam it, pull it back into shape. First thing I've got to do is remove the spindle that I can get to. That one comes out. So now the spindle's not in the way, it gives us a chance to create a sealed box around this section here. Then we feed our steam in, leave it for an hour, then come back, take the box away, put our spindles back in place near our guide as we pull this back into shape. What creates steam? Wallpaper stripper. Take the end off, and there is our source of steam. That's the theory. What could possibly go wrong?
Quite a lot, potentially. In Skid's workshop, the airline trolley, soon to be a tool caddy, is taking shape.
When they're stained, that'll look all right.
Time to start cleaning the metalwork, which will contrast well with the carcass of the trolley when it's sprayed matte black.
Now what I've got to do is mask off all the silver areas. I'm going to leave this number because I like that original patina, so I'll mask that off, and I think that will transform it and it'll look lovely.
While it dries, Skid uses the time to give the shelves a shine. Back with the pillar drill, and Skid's having a few snagging issues.
And it's a lot more awkward to do than I think Henry thought it was. So I'm going to try and disassemble it. There we go, that surprisingly, that is moving. Here we go, I've sprayed penetrating oil on it. A little bit of persuasion, and there we go. Now that is easier to deal with.
And one by one, every part of the greasy drill gets a proper clean, so the paint will take to it and tack off properly.
Because we've managed to keep all the little detailed bits, there's going to be the red handles, the wood, it's going to look quite a detailed piece. Whether it needs a flower on it or not is another matter.
Back at Simon's workshop, he's given the bellows a gentle clean, so Gemma can see exactly where her expertise will be needed.
I have a present for you.
But what I need now is some of that Gemma magic.
Yeah.
Hard work.
So let's just give the top a light sanding and a waxing.
Yeah.
And then the leather, if you can feed the leather.
Add a bit of moisture to it,
Okay.
yeah.
And then last of all, just pick out all the little studs with black paint. Thanks, bye.
What, every single one? That's quite a big job, isn't it? Now I'm using a metal brush and they seem to be coming up beautifully. I don't think we need to paint them.
And while Gemma spruces up the wooden top of the bellows, Simon has cooked up a Heath Robinson steamer box for the rocking chair repair.
And in the back of the box, there's a hole. I've got some tape. We've got the steamer plugged in. And we're just going to leave it for an hour. What could possibly go wrong?
That's the second time you've said that. And while the steam works its magic, Phil and Simon need to be on their mettle, because once the steam is turned off, they'll have to push everything back in place before it cools down again.
Phil, we've got to go now. It's cooling down.
Time for the big reveal.
Oh, look at that! It's got worse. It's much worse.
But hopefully nothing that some wood glue and a ratchet can't fix.
You ratchet, our guide. It's worse than ever.
And as they say in TV series, to be continued. With the workshops busy with the first batch of restorations, it's now time for the second rummage location. This time in Wiltshire.
I want cars.
Yes.
Right, I want bikes.
Yes.
I want enamel signs.
Yes.
I want it all, baby.
I promise every single thing that you've asked for is here. Not sure you'll be allowed to have any of that, but come on. Come along.
What do you mean?
The boys are off to see antiques dealer and auto enthusiast Roz.
I also breed ducks and geese, which you can probably hear.
But she's made it clear that her car collection is not up for grabs.
There's quite a lot ranging over mechanical things, quite a lot of furniture, but they can't have my signs and or cars.
That's because they are going to be sold to pay for a new thatched roof.
Ros, what a beautiful place. How long have you been here?
Over 35 years.
I've just observed a rack of Rileys, I think you might call that. Hey?
There's more.
So you have a penchant for cars, but do you collect other stuff as well?
I collect quite a lot of stuff.
Well, alas, we can only take 2 items each, right? But then hopefully we'll do them up and, well, maybe make you some money.
Please find large items.
OK, I will.
OK.
Well, we'll try.
OK, let's get stuck in. Come on.
So once again, the boys are after a pair of items each
I feel like I'm going crackers.
to find a new home for. And it seems Simon's heading for the brambles.
Oh, there's something you don't see every day in a garden.
What is it?
I think it's a deconstructed spiral staircase.
I'd call it composting.
I'm going to stop it composting. Well, when was the last time we saw a spiral staircase in kind of the undergrowth in a garden?
Never.
There you go. So therefore, what does that mean?
You'll be taking
I'll
it.
be taking it.
If it does come right, yeah, and it is solid, then spiral staircases can go for a lot of money. If it's rotten, I think the duck summed it up.
I'm telling you, I'm taking it. That's all there is to it.
So the staircase might be a first.
Blimey O'Reilly.
But by the looks of its condition, it might be the last.
What a stuff here, mate. Oh, that's funky. Is that a club fender?
That's a posh word for a fire guard.
That's just quite sweet, though, isn't it?
It's cool.
Hey?
It's solid, isn't it?
More solid than your spiral staircase, I reckon.
I think even the top rail's all good.
Yeah, you could just sand that off and then paint the metal.
Might be a nice bit of oak on top.
Could be really nice.
So, let's go.
Henry's first find. Sticking to Roz's brief, the boys have gone big on their first items.
Oh, hang on. This is having its time now, isn't it? I like that little nod of agreement. It's a Sun Yorkshire.
It's all right. They're a good manufacturer.
Birmingham-based Sun Cycles first made frames and fittings for other brands before making their own bicycles.
Silent night in the city. Feel so bold, feel so pretty. Bright lights chasing down the dark. Setting spark after spark. Neon signs alive. Feel the city's vibe. Being hearts in sync. this urban tide, with our spirits high under cosmic sky. Silent night in the city, feel so bold, feel so pretty. Bright lights chasing down the dark, setting spark after spark. Neon signs alight, feel the city's vibe, beating hearts in sync, to the edge we think. On and on we glide.
In the late 50s, they were taken over by Raleigh.
And it's cool. Henry Cole. Cool. Words again I never thought I would put together.
Right, second item.
You've just become hip.
Have I?
Yeah.
And talking of hip,
That is lovely, isn't it?
Henry's slipped into one of Roz's vintage cars.
You really do feel king of the road.
Oh, hang on.
Strip lighting, mate, honestly, that was invented a long time ago.
No.
Well, above me here, I have a very well-made frame. Then we have some kind of cushions.
Yeah.
And then we have some slats and a very, very nice brass mechanism. But just the way the legs are turned and everything, just got that designer feel to it. I'm going to take a chance that this is something actually very nice. That's it, 2 items each, brilliant.
Do you want to hop in?
I'll go with Fire Roz and you just have a moment. You can even make the noise.
So it's time for the Toad of Toad Hall and Si to learn a bit more about their 4 finds.
OK, Rosalind, can we just start with the bicycle?
It was the husband's, he had it at college.
Goes back a while?
It goes back to the late 60s, 70s.
Well,
it's a special lightweight frame.
OK, we're going to give that another lease of life. OK, right, now moving on. Perhaps it's not quite a club fender because you can't sit on it.
It came from one of the local stately piles.
I think that's going to have a lease of life as well. Yeah, over to you, mate.
What I wasn't expecting to find today is a spiral staircase in the undergrowth.
Yep.
Tell me about that.
So I tried using it as a plant stand.
Okay.
Didn't work.
I'll take the whole lot.
Brilliant.
Now, up in the rafters in the top garage, I spotted this frame. And to me, it feels like quality.
Guy Rogers daybed, 1960s, 70s.
It's such a beautiful shape. I've taken the whole lot.
Yep.
Just think it's amazing.
So, Ross, what do you think of our choices?
I did say I needed large stuff moving.
Well, we've tried, especially Simon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So despite having to steer clear of the cars, 4 of the biggest items they could find are motoring their way to the workshops. Simon O'Brien and Henry Cole are turning unwanted stuff
Oh, there's something you don't see every day in a garden.
into folding stuff. They both picked 2 items from Roz's yard.
Oh, that's funky.
Now Simon is back in Liverpool and the spiral stair is beyond repair.
Much as I would love to rebuild it as a spiral staircase, I think the time and the cost associated, it's just not going to be worth it. So, what if we have 3 different lengths of pole and it just becomes a really cool shelving unit?
That sounds a lot like Roz's plant stand.
Clean off all the treads, decide whether they're going to be varnished or painted. The one thing it will need is some really sturdy feet, and that sounds like a job for a blacksmith.
Simon's also got his work cut out on the curious daybed from Roz's place.
I believe it's a Guy Rogers 1960s designer sofa bed. If it's right, it's kind of quite valuable.
Day or sofa beds have been around for centuries. While the French favoured the earlier chaise longue style, here they were sometimes referred to as fainting couches where ladies could recline elegantly. And Simon's been online finding out more about the Guy Rogers piece.
Well, would you believe it?
Go on.
So Guy Rogers were really cool, very iconic furniture makers in the 60s. Guess where they were from?
Where?
The coolest city in the world in the 60s. Liverpool. I have brought that sofa back home.
At Henry's, the second batch of restorations are also underway.
Are you sure you don't want your jacket? Because it's getting a bit colder now.
Starting with the Sun racing bike.
Go on then, bore me, bore me.
Well, it's a classic English, mate. Very closely associated with Raleigh, which also at the time owned Carlton, the racing brand. The lugs that connect the tube, they've got lovely shapes in them, so that's a good sign. This seat stay here is a wrap-over one-piece look, and that's expensive to do.
Right, can I stop you there? Apart from the foliage, right?
That worries me, though, because it means it's been abandoned. It's not just been in a shed, has it? Which then leads on to, when you pull the brakes, these are seized solid.
That is definitely in A&E.
That is. I'm hoping all this will free off. Now, if this frees off, I would like to keep it original, and that is not because I'm going cheap.
No, I think it's a really
I think
great...
it's the nicest thing to do.
So let's keep this original, but give it some love.
And the old fender is in need of some love too.
Now look, in an ideal world, you'd send this off and get it blasted, but that would probably be your profit gone. So to keep it all in-house, we had a quick chat. He wants it painted black, but before I paint it, I'm going to rub it all down, then I'm going to sand the wood down, then rattle can it, and then stain the wood. And he might make a few quid that way.
Up north, Simon's harebrained idea of turning a spiral staircase into a shelving unit is about to take an even more wacky turn.
What if we do it all white with yellow?
Yeah.
It kind of look like a daisy.
Oh, I love that idea.
You'd like that?
Okay, so I'm priming and painting these.
Yeah, white and yellow.
Okay, no problem.
That should do it, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that's going to look great.
And while Gemma gets busy with the white side of the flower power look, Phil is feeling mellow with the yellow side. And while that dries off, he can fashion a nice green stem out of some scaff. From the wacky staircase upcycle to something rather more classic, the daybed.
And then he drops in there. And then, when you don't want it to be a sofa anymore, that comes back and gets grabbed by that hook.
Yeah.
And then this
goes back
into there.
Will you look at that?
So that's the good news. The mechanism is still working. But the bad news is that the original fabric is beyond repair.
That's not good.
And the replacement covers are in need of a really deep clean.
Well, this vacuum fabric cleaner is bringing this up beautifully. You can see the difference, and not only does it look clean, but it smells lovely, and that's so important when it comes to old fabrics.
So the fabric's looking fresh again. A coat of teak oil from Restorer Phil, and it'll be time for bed.
It's just bringing out the goodness in the wood. It's going to look so much different when it's finished.
Back at the farm, Skid is giving the Sun Racer a generous squirt of penetrating oil to see if he can free up some of the parts.
You'd be amazed what you can salvage on a bicycle.
The first good news is that the lovely original Brooks saddle is still serviceable.
Look, straight away, I feel the green is dissipating.
You know, this was sea solid. Look.
Oh yeah, that's good.
The next bit of good news is that both tyres and inner tubes are still sound.
You realise this is supposed to be 85 PSI,
Yes,
don't you?
I don't care. Squidge it, squidge it!
That is proper. You're going to tell me you want to keep these tyres on now, aren't you, and go cheap? Well, try the back one
I'm
then.
going to.
With the bike stripped, Skid gets polishing.
It does help that these are lovely castings. I love doing bicycles because they're so simple, and you can build a whole bike in the morning if you've got all the bits. And they haven't got loads of electrics and engines to go wrong. The first thing you do when you put the brakes on is just set them loosely to get them vaguely so they're going to touch the rim in the right place, but it's much easier when all the cables are on to set the brakes.
Fitting brakes is not everyone's cup of tea. It's fiddly. But for an engineer like Skid, this is a straightforward morning's work and a great way of fixing a classic racer on a small budget.
Basically there, we've just got to adjust the centre pull brake bit.
And talking of small budgets, Skid's keeping the fender restoration as simple as possible.
Right, I've sanded the wood on the fender, so now I've got my famous Tudor oak, and I'm just going to wax the wood before I paint it. It's always amazing the difference waxing this makes. Now I've just got to buff that.
At Simon's, the team are finishing the restorations from the first barn search. Restorer Phil fashions a new operating arm for the bellows. And the linkage from Blacksmith Ian has arrived.
Would you like to do the honours?
Okay, so this goes over here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I press this down.
Go on.
Look at it, mate.
So you pump it down, and then the counterweights drop it back again. And because you've got that lever, the effort is like minimal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not difficult at all.
That's what you call a restoration of a beautiful old piece of architectural, industrial history. And we even used a blacksmith to fix something that belongs in a smithy.
So the bellows have a future. What about the rocking chair? The glue and ratchet fiasco continues.
And now the other one. Should we admit defeat on this one? Next time, note to self, get someone to steam it for us.
Yeah. Good idea. I'm sure Ronnie will have something to say at the valuation. Meanwhile, at Henry's place...
Oh, it's got a mind of its own.
The flight attendant's trolley from the first barn is in a much better place.
And the final piece to finish it off is this rubber matting I cut.
That is quality.
Because these have been waxed, don't they slide in lovely? It's almost like they're on bearings.
Oh, I thought you'd done that. Look, if I just offer this up, come round.
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm going to be honest. I think that really cheapens it. And I'll tell you why. When have you ever seen a toolbox with tools written on it? Leave it alone. Less is more.
And the pillar drill is finished too.
Oh, yeah.
Mate, it is still a perfectly working drill.
Complete with a magnetic tray.
OK, so this begs the question then. What's that for?
Now look, I want that on there, and then you can either put your keys in it, or you can put some screws in it.
I've got to give it to you. That is a novel thing to do with it.
I think that's lovely.
Oh, mate, look, I think it's lovely.
You can even rotate your keys if you want to.
But what will Ronnie think at the valuation? Time to find out. Simon and Henry found 4 unwanted items in Giles's enormous sheds. Now they've been transformed. But what will the former blacksmith think? We've sent him pictures of the restorations to find out.
Simon's done a nice tidy job on that. I like the metallic green cannonballs. This child's rocking chair, well, good of him to try.
But you got to do that the odd time, haven't you? It's just Giles's turn.
Yeah.
Anyway, do you think Ronnie might, Come on, Ronnie.
Antiques expert and valuer Ronnie Archer Morgan started his long career upcycling furniture. So he's well placed to know the true value of restored items.
Good to see you.
Hey, look, feast your eyes, Ronnie.
Well, a worktop drill.
Yeah.
Made into a utilitarian sculpture.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Okay.
And please explain.
Okay, Ronnie, the rocking chair had a bit of damage and I decided to steam it back into shape, and when we tightened the straps, the whole thing collapsed.
Well, at least you've explained.
Okay.
On to the next one?
Yes, please.
Oh, this is lovely. This is an airline trolley. And you've repurposed it as a mobile toolbox.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fantastic. Great use. I like the mind. Like it very
Great.
much. Bellows. Pretty amazing. I mean, that is quite an object.
Isn't it?
There you go.
Oh, man, how cool is that?
Have you replaced this
Yeah.
piece of oak?
Yeah.
Very nice. It's an interesting object.
Hey, so what do you reckon? Well, apart from the chair, Ronnie.
I like the drill made into a key tray.
Yeah.
But still functional, repurposed.
The pillar drill had had its day. Now it's a trendy key caddy or plant stand that rotates. £20 spent on paint.
I think it's a nice sculptural object. Utilitarian looking, £120.
Oh, I'll take that.
I think it's nice.
That's engineered a profit of £100.
Good, well, that's a great start. Now let's move on to the airline trolley, Ronnie, or tool chest now.
I think that's a very nice object, and I think you've made really good use of it.
The airline trolley was redundant. Now it's a stylish tool caddy. £30 spent on shelves.
If I had a workshop that needed a mobile toolbox, I would pay £150 for that.
Not bad at all.
That's a solid profit of £120.
Ready for a crash landing?
Yeah, down with the bump.
Should we talk about the rocking chair, Ronnie?
I do admire your tenacity to repurpose an object.
The little rocker was hoping to roll again. No costs. Just a bit of a nightmare.
You know, some projects just don't work out, and I admire you for at least trying. But the only value I can put on it is as firewood. £10.
I think that's very generous, mate.
All right.
Oh dear, just a tenner's profit.
Now, let's talk about something which I think is very, very lovely, the bellows.
That really is a conversation piece. It's a great look. In the right place, I just think it will really give a place some character.
And the bellows were out of puff. Now they have a new handle and make a great decorator's piece. £100 spent on wood and a blacksmith.
A functioning bellows, £300.
That's a very reasonable profit of £200.
So Giles will be receiving, that means, 430 of your finest British pounds.
Simon and Henry have done a really good job. Very pleased indeed. And they're most welcome to come and choose some more.
You may think that's a little below par because of your chair.
Yeah.
Below?
Yeah, see what you did
Yeah,
there.
good, great.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you so much, mate.
So Ronnie's chuffed. Let's hope for the same at the second valuation. Dukes of Junk, Simon O'Brien and Henry Cole
don't worry,
are turning leftovers into lolly. The picks from Giles's barn were valued at £430.
They're most welcome to come and choose some more.
And so it's game on as the teams finish off the restorations.
I feel like I'm going crackers.
From the second barns belonging to antiques dealer Roz. Starting with the spiral staircase cum shelving unit.
Go on, pedal. Okay, now swing him out that way.
This way?
Yeah. Now will he balance?
Oh.
Do you like it?
It's all right.
See, and that's the design that was in my head, you see, because that sits against the wall.
I've said it before and I'll say it again, mate. I don't know what goes on in your head. It's a compliment, by the way.
Okay. Neither do I, actually.
From what's in Simon's head to a team effort on Simon's sofa bed.
We have rescued a beautiful piece of furniture. And what we have is a one-off, iconic piece from Liverpool, made in the 60s. What a glorious thing it is. And the sofa bed's not bad either.
It's tea time, and Henry is admiring Skid's handiwork.
Now, look, I've got to tell you,
Yeah.
right, that is a great example. Less is more.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was sanded down, rattle canned. This was sanded, Tudor oak,
Tudor
as
oak,
ever.
mate.
Well, I'd have that in my own house. I think it's great.
Could be a revelation here.
Yes.
Right? I think Ronnie might like the finish.
From one hot item to another. Next up, the Sun Racer is nearly ready for a spin.
Hey, Bean, what do you reckon, babes? We've brought that back to life.
I really love the patina of that bike. I think it's cracking.
Yeah. I think the bar tape looks great as well. Let's go and have a pirouette, shall we?
Yes.
Yeah. I'll get another bike.
Yeah.
Come on then.
Only Henry's bike's got a battery.
It rides so smoothly, it's lovely.
Do you know what? It looks good. Suits you, sir, I have to tell you.
Does my orange hat go well with it?
Yeah, it does actually.
Yeah.
Can I just say and explain to you why I have this beautiful bicycle? Honestly, man.
Here we go.
No, seriously.
I'd stick to this because the only thing you have to recharge with this is me.
Will those two ever agree on anything? Let's see what Ronnie makes of it as we pedal to the second valuation. Henry and Simon found another 4 unwanted items at Roz's place. Now they've been upcycled or restored. But what will she think about what the boys have done? We've sent her pictures to find out.
That's been repurposed well, yes. I was intending doing planters with it for years, but I just ran out of time. Now it's clean, painted, and all together again. Much better. That must have been a lot of work, whoever did that. All that chrome, all around all those little bits, that's not easy.
Well, I think Roz loved them.
Oh, why wouldn't she? It's great, isn't it? But...
Will Ronnie?
Should we find out?
Yeah. Hey, Ronnie.
How are you both?
Well, he's smiling now.
Yeah, he is. Go and have a look, mate. Help yourself.
This is elegant. Very Art Deco. This straight line and then the serpentine in between each straight. Very nice.
Now, yes.
It's a sun.
We've kept it very, very original as best we can. Oh, hang on, he's got his magnifier
Weinman
out.
brakes, Brooks saddle. Really pleased that you've left the original finish.
Well, that was Guy's decision, and I think it was the right one.
This is very clever. Love the colourway.
It's a daisy in my mind, mate.
I do like your mind.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Guy Rogers.
Correct.
Looking at Denmark. Not the original covering, but it really works, that aubergine. This is really popular now, this vintage. I think you've both excelled yourself with this little group. Yeah, I like everything.
Oh, great.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, you go.
Okay, I'll jump in. Let's start with our, what I call my daisy shelves.
I think that could be anywhere in a modern kitchen.
Not bad,
It's a
mate.
all right,
very
isn't it?
good look.
Yeah, you won't get one of them off the shelf.
The spiral staircase was in bits and beyond repair. Now it's a quirky set of shelves. £100 spent on metal stands and paint.
I think it's got a nice fresh look. I think it would appeal to a lot of people. And I just think it's an easy sell at £300.
That's a clever profit of £200.
Let's move on. You know it's a Guy Rogers.
Practical, functional. It's a very nice looking period piece.
The daybed was long forgotten. Now it's spruced up and fit for a snooze. £50 spent on brass fittings.
I'm probably going to value this higher than you would think, and I would say you'll sell that for £300. It would be more if it had the original covering.
Completely agree.
That's a comfy profit of £250.
Shall we start with the fireguard?
I think that's so elegant, and I love the way you've restored it really sympathetically. It hardly looks as though it's been restored. It's done so well.
The fireguard was still fit for purpose, just redundant in the shed. A tenner's worth of paint to make it saleable again.
And it will give a room with a fireplace that lovely 1920s, 30s elegance.
Yeah.
£200 all day long.
That's a straightforward profit of £190.
Let's move on to the Sun Racing bicycle.
Honestly, that takes me back to my teenage years. I could never afford to buy a bicycle second-hand or new, so I would buy parts and make up bikes that look just like that. It's a great thing. I love it.
And the racing bike hadn't been ridden for decades. Just £30 on handlebar tape and parts, and she's back in the game.
It's a period classic, all in working order. £150.
Yeah, nice.
And that's a sporting profit of £120.
Double winner today. Ronnie's happy.
Yeah.
And so will Rosby. She's receiving £760.
That's brilliant. So it might get moved from the thatched roof fund to the Volvo respray fund, which is much more fun.
So Giles has a total of £430 in the bank, and the boys have made £760 for Roz. Today's biggest profit coming from the daybed.
Well, I hope you're not resting on your laurels.
Well,
huh?
why wouldn't I? That went very well, didn't it? Upcycled stuff,
Yeah.
restored stuff.
Yeah.
Ronnie liked it all.
Yeah, well, apart from the rocking chair, mate.
Right, that's it. I'm not taking that line down.